Former Kano State Governor and national political heavyweight of the NNPP, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has dropped a political hint that is widely sending shock waves through Nigeria's political landscape. Kwankwaso has suggested he may decamp to another political party, not as a passive entrant, but potentially as a presidential or vice presidential contender. This is not idle talk. Kwankwaso does not move without calculation. His political base in Kano and across parts of northern Nigeria remains one of the most organized grassroots structures across the two dominant parties. The famous Kwankwasia movement is not just a slogan, it is a political machine. What makes this development explosive is its timing. As Nigeria slowly drifts towards the 2027 general elections, political parties are quietly realigning, power blocks are shifting, and old alliances are weakening. The Kwankwasian political movement, once seen as the most disciplined grassroots force in northern Nigeria, is now facing its most serious internal test. At the center of this growing crisis are three factors: the movement itself, the NNPP, and the uneasy relationship between Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf and his longtime political benefactor Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. Kwankwasia was never just a party structure, it was a movement built around loyalty, ideology, and symbolism, from the red caps to the carefully cultivated grassroots networks across Kano and beyond. When the movement adopted the NNPP as its electoral vehicle, many believed the party had simply become a shell housing Kwankwaso's political machine. But power changes dynamics. Since Abba assumed office as governor, cracks have begun to show. What was once a unified front now appears strained by questions of control, autonomy, and successions. Supporters whisper what politicians would openly admit, that there is an ongoing struggle over who truly controls Kano political direction. Is it the elected governor or the movement leader who delivered the victory? For Abba Yusuf, governing Kano State comes with real pressures: state bureaucracy, fiscal realities, and political compromises. While for Kwankwaso, the movement's strength lies in discipline and central coordination. These two realities are now colliding. Within the NNPP, factions are emerging already, and some loyalists insist that Kwankwaso remains the unquestioned leader, the ideological compass of Kwankwasia. Others argue that Abba Yusuf must be allowed to govern independently, not as a proxy, but as a full political authority. This tension has triggered accusations and counter-accusations as well, and there have been classic symptoms of a party struggling to separate movement loyalty from state power. When Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso held a series of quiet but highly symbolic meetings with Bola Ahmed Tinubu earlier last year, 2025, Nigeria's political class took notice of that meeting. These were not just courtesy visits, they were strategic conversations. In Nigerian politics, meetings are messages, and when two heavyweight figures like Tinubu and Kwankwaso sit behind closed doors, the question is never if something is being discussed, but what future is being negotiated. Kwankwaso, leader of the Kwankwasia movement and one of the most influential politicians in the Northwest, arrived at those meetings with political capital Tinubu understands very well, which is structure, numbers, and grassroots loyalty. Tinubu, on the other hand, represented federal power, incumbency, and long-term political planning. And at the time, the meeting sparked intense speculation. Was Tinubu attempting to pull Kwankwaso into the ruling APC orbit? Or was Kwankwaso testing his national bargaining value? Or were both men simply keeping channels open ahead of 2027? What is clear is this: Kwankwaso does not attend meetings without leverage. His participation alone elevated his relevance beyond just opposition politics. For Tinubu, engaging Kwankwaso was a calculated move to neutralize or realign a powerful northern bloc that could either challenge or complement future electoral plans. Fast forward to today, and those meetings now look like less casual engagement and more like early positionings. Kwankwaso recent signals about possible defection and higher ambition have forced many to revisit those Tinubu meetings with fresh eyes again. Meanwhile, multiple credible outlets report that Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf defection from the NNPP to the APC isn't just a rumor anymore. It's being prepared for early January 2026, with the date of formal announcement having been shifted to January 12, 2026. And it is described as part of his political strategy ahead of 2027 general election. APC figures have openly involved in discussions and consultations with Yusuf and his political allies about joining the ruling party. There are reports that meetings have been held between the governor and APC leaders, and pressure is building from within Kano political circles for him and even his mentor, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, to defect. The NNP has dissolved its Kano State Executive Committee and publicly appealed to Yusuf not to defect to the APC, which is itself a sign that the party views the rumors as significant and potentially imminent. Observers and APC sources say bringing in a governor of Kano State size will be a major political gain for Tinubu and the APC because Kano is a key political battleground in Nigerian politics. Moves like these fit a broader pattern of political realignment ahead of the 2027 general election, where defections from opposition parties into the APC have been ongoing. It is partly driven by internal opposition splits and the pull of being aligned with the ruling government of the day. When Kwankwaso Musa openly stated that he's seeking a presidential or vice presidential ticket in another party as part of a coalition, it was not an offhand remark. It was a strategic declaration, and it reshapes how to read the current waves of defections and negotiations. Kwankwaso is not talking like a politician running from trouble. He is talking like one placing conditions. By saying quote and unquote president or vice president, he's drawing a red line already. He's not interested in being absorbed quietly into a political party. He's not seeking a ceremonial role in any political party. He wants structure, power, and visibility. This immediately rules out a simple decampment and frames everything as coalition politics. Kwankwaso deliberately avoided naming the APC, the PDP, or any specific platform. That ambiguity is powerful. It tells other parties that if you want Kwankwasia, come with an offer. It also signals to his base that he's not abandoning them cheaply, and any move must carry them along, not scatter them. With Abba Yusuf being linked to possible APC defection, Kwankwaso's statement functions as a counter message that if Abba moves alone, Kwankwaso retains bargaining power elsewhere. If Abba stays, Kwankwaso strengthens his coalition leverage. Either way, Kwankwaso is positioning himself above Kano local politics, thinking nationally. This is why NNPP tensions look less like chaos and more like realignment pains. Kwankwaso is sending three messages at once. To APC, quote and unquote, that I won't join as a follower, and to the opposition parties that I bring votes, structures, and the knot, but I want the ticket or the slot. And to his supporters, there is no move without value. This is classic coalition politics, not desperation, not rebellion, but calculated positioning. Kwankwaso's statement is not about where he's going, it is about how much power he carries with him when he moves. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso has previously rejected the offer to run as vice presidential candidate to Peter Obi. That decision was deliberate and strategic at that time. But the new rumor that Olusegun Obasanjo is lobbying Kwankwaso to reconsider a VP slot with Obi under the African Democratic Congress introduces a very different political context entirely. The rumored Obasanjo-led lobbying matters because the environment has totally shifted. Nigeria is moving toward coalition politics, not single-party dominance, and opposition fragmentation has weakened individual platforms. So 2027 is shaping up as a 2 or 3 block contest, not a straight race. This means a VP slot today could come with far more negotiated authority than before. Obasanjo does not usually intervene casually. If he is indeed lobbying, it suggests a deliberate elite effort to unify opposition votes, and it also implies that a belief that Obi Kwankwaso is electorally competitive. And most importantly, it frames the ticket as national reconciliation, which is Southeast and Northwest running under the ADC. If Obasanjo is truly involved, it is not personal, but it is a strategic movement. Obasanjo understands that multiple opposition candidates will give the APC advantage, and Atiku running again divides rather than consolidates. So a fresh coalition ticket may outperform legacy politics. An Obi Kwankwaso ticket under ADC would sidestep PDP internal wars, reduce Atiku's monopoly on opposition space, and present a generational contrast. The African Democratic Congress (ADC) matters because Atiku does not control it. That alone makes it attractive to Peter Obi and Kwankwaso. This is Impact Media. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to comment your thoughts too. Thank you. I will see you again in the next video.